Tonight, a significant impact. The Spencer Gulf snapper ban extended until 2026. And a potential arsonist on the loose in Coober Pedy as the local police station is targeted.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf studios, your nightly news with Madeline Kerr begins now.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. It's been a bleak start to the year for Spencer Gulf fishers, with a ban on snapper extended for another 3 years. The state government says commercial and charter businesses will be compensated, but will it be enough to keep them afloat?
3 more years of waiting for Spencer Gulf anglers. Despite a halt in the decline of snapper stocks, the state government has extended the region's snapper fishing ban to give the species more time to repopulate. Unwelcome news to commercial fishing boats keen to reel in the prized catch.
It's going to impact over 100 fishers, but we have all diversified our businesses to support a long-term project.
With the ban originally implemented in 2019, tourism operators were also hoping to wait out the storm. But now with the bans extended, many tourist charters are considering downsizing operations or taking on other jobs.
Chasing our iconic fish. So the snapper closure has had a significant impact on the business. It's basically gone about a 95% loss in business.
With snapper once being the main draw card for tourist fishermen to visit the Spencer Gulf, operators say it is now hard to compete with tours in other regions. But Perza says it's all part of a bigger picture, with the ban protecting the longevity of both the species and the industry in the long run.
We'll be breeding and releasing close to 1 million snapper fingerlings into the 2 Gulfs, Gulf St Vincent and the Spencer Gulf, over 2 years.
With authorities warning those illegally reeling in the fish may receive a hefty fine.
First time offence is $5,000. It can go up to $20,000 for repeat offending.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Police in Coober Pedy are investigating a suspicious fire that took hold right at their doorstep. Just before 8 o'clock last night, officers noticed flames licking the shrubs out the back. The grass fire managed to spread under the back fence, damaging several cars parked in the impound yard attached to the policing complex. CFS showed up and extinguished the blaze, while specialised crews from Port Augusta drove up earlier today to investigate the fire's origins. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000 or online at www.crimestopperssa.com.au. Minister for Regional Roads Jeff Brock has been advocating for upgrades to the Augusta Highway for years now. And this week, his advocacy has paid off, announcing 4 junctions between Red Hill and Winawi will be upgraded to improve road safety, efficiency and freight accessibility.
It's the gateway road connecting Spencer Gulf cities. The Augusta Highway, a staple for locals, tourists and truckies alike. And now it's about to become safer, with the major works announced at 4 of the highway's key junctions. The biggest job will be at the intersection of Horrocks Pass Road at Winawi, with a new overtaking lane to be added.
And the other one is here, right behind me, Flinders View Drive. There's a lot of activity on this highway here, and one of the things here is that they're going to have on all of them, they're going to have right-hand turn lanes and also left-hand turn lanes.
South of Crystal Brook at the Venning Road Junction, the northbound right turn lane will be widened, while the left turn lane at the Clements Road Junction, also south of Crystal Brook, will be extended as well. Better lighting and fresh line markings will also be done at all 4 intersections, making it safer and more accessible for drivers to pull over and stop by places like popular highway cafe Harry's Homemade Fine Foods.
Well, this is going to happen hopefully in the next financial year, which is after June, and all the work should be completed by June 2024. There is going to be a lot of activity on these 3 projects, and I just ask people to be very, very patient.
Mr. Brock says the short-term pain of speed restrictions and delays will be worth it in the end. These junction upgrades are part of the Princes Highway Corridor program, which is jointly funded by the Australian and South Australian governments on an 80-20 basis. Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Land values in Western New South Wales have soared in recent years, according to the latest from the Valuer General. Appointed by the Governor, the independent statutory officer helps determine how much land tax is paid each year.
Land value is on the up in the West.
Residential land values increased by 22% overall, with Broken Hill seeing the strongest increases, driven by its strengthening mining sector and tourism industries.
Residential land values in Broken Hill increased by a whopping 47.3% between July 2021 and July 2022. The Silver City also excelled on the commercial front.
Commercial land values saw strong increases of 21% overall. Broken Hill saw the strongest increases, driven by increasing demand from investors and limited supply.
For industrial land values, there was an overall value increase of 10%. Wentworth with the highest, coming in at 33%. Burke was the next to perform well, with an increase of over 18%.
The strongest increases were recorded in Wentworth, which were underpinned by the strong local horticultural industry. Burke also saw strong increases, driven by an increased demand for fringe North Burke industrial parcels with hobby farm potential.
The Central Darling Shire was also included, having strong increases in rural land values of over 50%. And a reminder, the Valuer General assesses the value of the land only. They don't include how much a home on that land is worth. Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Still to come tonight, all animals safe from harm. SA Water to resume the Morgan to Whyalla pipeline project. And making science fun. Dr. Quarks Science Circus, a huge hit in Port Augusta. Welcome back. SA Water's renewal of the Morgan to Whyalla pipeline is a step closer to starting construction. After taking a step back to ensure it didn't threaten native bird species, the project is now ready to continue in an environmentally conscious way.
Closing in on construction. Originally set to commence in 2022, SA Water pauses Morgan to Whyalla pipeline renewal project to ensure native animal habitats along the pipeline route would not be destroyed in the process.
A group of 20 species of bird which use the Mallee area as their habitat.
Now, after extensive ecological field investigations, the project is nearly ready to resume. This time working in a reduced construction corridor, avoiding hollow-bearing trees and establishing conservation sites to protect the native birds.
SA Water takes environmental management extremely seriously. This is the first time we've worked in this area since the declaration of the endangered species.
These changes will allow the 80-year-old Morgan to Whyalla pipeline to receive various renewal works to ensure a flow of fresh water continues to regional cities.
Renewing a component of the Morgan-Whyalla pipeline that provides water to over 100,000 customers. What people might see are pipes being brought to site, being welded, and excavation occurring.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Port Augusta families got up close and personal with a fun lesson in science at the public library this week. Dr. Quark performed a wide range of demonstrations, with staff blown away by the attendance.
Inside from the midweek heat, things were heating up at the Port Augusta Library, packed with eager young scientists. Dr. Quarks Scientific Circus has rolled into town, with the man himself demonstrating concepts like Newton's law, thrust and air pressure.
The crowd here was amazing, like a full crowd in the library. It's great to be able to make noise in libraries these days. Lots of fun and the excitement in the kids, and hopefully it sparks them on to, get into science a bit more at school and outside of school at home in their own time.
Library staff were delighted with the huge turnout.
We're really excited to have such a great turnout. It's a while since we've actually been able to do any performances like this, with COVID having been over the last couple of years. So yeah, this is the first real one we've done, and it's great to see so many people.
A grant from Inspiring SA funded Dr. Quark's visit to the Spencer Golf, who says being entertaining and educational at the same time can reach kids.
Yeah, I guess it helps. I've got junior primary training as one of my previous careers, along with the science background. So I guess I've learnt how to get through the messages in an understandable way, but you tie in lots of fun with it and it makes it memorable for them.
Little scientists in the making. Daniel Pizarro, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. The Far West Gin Distillery scores a win on the world stage, and how you can have your say on the Wallaroo Foreshore Master Plan. Welcome back. A Port Augusta steel company has been handed a heavy fine for unsafe work practices that led to an apprentice suffering severe injuries. The South Australian Employment Tribunal found the company breached work safety duties and didn't provide a safe working environment.
A day's work in September 2020 for a young man turned into a nightmare after over 1,200 kilograms of steel sheeting fell on top of him, causing broken bones and soft tissue damage.
He was assisting the owner to load some steel. The shelves that they were putting it on gave way and fell on him. So he's really lucky to be alive, to be honest.
More than 2 years since the incident, the South Australian Employment Tribunal fined Port Augusta Steel Centre $200,000 for failing to maintain a safe working environment for its workers.
Didn't have things like weight bearing for these shelves even. They didn't have a written procedure for how to load steel. They didn't have safety responses to a lot of the work they're dealing with.
Port Augusta Steel itself was fined $134,000 following an early guilty plea, while its 2 business owners, Jeffrey Glenn and Julie Glenn, were each fined $33,000, also following an early guilty plea. 7 Spencer Golf News reached out to Port Augusta Steel several times, but they've yet to respond to our inquiries. The tribunal also highlighted apprentices are vulnerable due to their lack of experience and rely even more on work safety laws. Safe Work SA handed down over $2.5 million in fines last year, the highest on record. Daniel Pizarro, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Wallaroo is one of the most popular coastal escapes on the York Peninsula. With perfect swimming beaches, fishing spots and walking trails, Council is expecting some major growth. And to prepare, they're revamping the foreshore.
Already a natural beauty, it's hard to imagine how you could improve the beachfront area of Wallaroo. But from Monday, the Copper Coast Council will try, taking suggestions and feedback regarding the foreshore master plan.
It's a really important part of our tourist area. The foreshores are what people come to the Copper Coast for.
The plan is to beautify the area and make it more accessible by adding more car parks, allowing more people to enjoy what the area has to offer.
It's just an opportunity to have a coordinated approach to the development of that area. Of course, at the moment, we're only looking at plans.
Council is planning on taking things as they come, working towards the end goal.
As funds become available, we can do the necessary work. We can just go to the plan, yes, this is what we can afford to do, and work through that.
The community and stakeholder survey will be available on Council's website from January 23rd until January 27, so be sure to get in quick.
Projected growth here for long-term residents, as well as the tourist industry is booming in many regional areas, and we want to be able to capitalise on that.
Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Broken Hill Distillery won at the World Gin Awards last night. The Thomas Street business won gold in 3 categories, including for its Far West Gin in the contemporary style, while their Remembrance Strength Gin won the silver in the signature botanical category. It's not the first time the business has won at the awards, with their Gunpowder Gin taking gold and silver in previous years. Stay with us after the break. A bumper preview of the upcoming cricket games being played this weekend. And it's finally Friday. We'll have the weather details with Ruby Cairns. Welcome back. In the Port Lincoln Cricket Association, ladder leaders Southern Air South take on bottom of the pack Todd River at Centenary Oval tomorrow. While over on Pool Oval, it's a match-up between Charlton and Tasmans. Waybacks have the bye, but here's the rest of our cricket tips.
Final round of T20 cricket in Broken Hill this weekend before the final of T20 cricket, which is played on Wednesday night at the Jubilee Oval. In the early game at the Alma Oval, West take on South. I would select West in this game because they've had the wood over South for most of the season, but West batting left a fair bit to be desired last week, with only one person getting into double figures, so unless West can improve on that, South could have a chance in this game. In the second game, Central's take on North. This will be a very close contest. Again, Central struggled to make runs last week, and North bowlers were all over the shop and bowled 20 wide. So it'll be make for an interesting game this week. I expect North to improve. I think their bowlers, that was an aberration after the Christmas break. I think they'll get back online this week, and I think Central bats will struggle to get enough runs to worry the Bulldogs as well.
G'day and welcome to Port Augusta Cricket. Firstly, Happy New Year to everyone. This week we got round 6. We got two top sides playing in Quorn. Quorn plays South Augusta. This should be a very good match. Because it's played in Quorn, I'm going to lean towards Quorn. The other match sees Central Stirling take on West Augusta. Central need to win this if they want to try to catch the two leaders. Westies need to win to try to go bridge the gap between them and Centrals. But I can't see Westies winning this, so I'm going to lean towards Central Stirling. So there are my two winners, Quorn and Central Stirling.
Hello and welcome to round 11 of Port Pirie Cricket. This round starts with Port Germain taking on Southport here at Memorial Oval from 10:30. With both sides locked on 18 points apiece, this game's a must-win for both sides. I'm going to tip Port Germain. Over at Port Oval, we've got Props taking on Wandera. Props are sitting pretty on top and are looking the good so far this season. Wandera are also on 18 points and they'll be desperate for a win against their old foes in Props. I'm going to tip Props.
Hello and welcome back to Weiler Cricket. This year we see the first round back of the normal competition for the A grade and the continuation of the B grade. In the A grade we see Central Weiler taking on North. I think it's going to be a good tussle. But I think North will come out on top after their thrilling T20 win on the weekend against Roos. In the B grade, we have South versus Rupina. I think Roos are going to get over the line in that one. And we have North versus Centrals in the other B grade. I think Daniel Adamson's in for a big one here. That's why I think I'm going to go North Weiler.
So much on. Good luck to everyone playing and volunteering this weekend. Well, it's time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather with Ruby Cairns. Ruby, it's been a while since it dipped below 10 degrees in Broken Hill.
Well, it's been around a month, Maddie. 9.3 degrees was the official reading at 6:22 this morning, but it felt closer to 6 degrees. I know much colder temperatures can happen in the far west, but it was still a bit of a shock as it was much cooler than the average Jan low temp. Let's take a look at some of today's other temperatures now. 29 degrees for Port Augusta this afternoon, partly cloudy for Port Lincoln, 22, 30 degrees for Woodna. Looking more broadly at today's weather map now, 31 was the top temp in our region up in Coober Pedy, 25 in Whyalla, 23 for Kadina this afternoon and 28 in Broken Hill. Let's take a look at the satellite image now. A high pressure system south of the Bight will keep South Australia under a strong ridge until later in the weekend. It will be slow moving as it tracks south of Tasmania before weakening early next week. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, we'll start with the Gulf waters. South to southeasterly winds 15 to 25 knots, turning southwesterly up to 30 knots in the evening. Seas between 1 and 2 metres, a south to southwesterly swell around a metre. Partly cloudy, 23 in Port Lincoln tomorrow, between 14 and 24 for Cleve. Sunny conditions around Woodna, 31 degrees there. Becoming windy around Whyalla, 28 degrees. Blue skies in both Port Augusta and Kadina, headed for a top of 30 degrees for Saturday. Same goes for Port Pirie Pirie, a sunny top of 30, down to 10 degrees in Clare tonight, 29 and sunny tomorrow. In Broken Hill, there's a small chance of a thunderstorm in the late afternoon and evening. During the day, it will be a mostly sunny 33. Let's take a look further through the week now, starting with Sunday's forecast. Sunny across most of the region, 33 for Port Augusta, Woodner and Port Pirie, 32 in Broken Hill and Kadina. Whyalla headed for 30 degrees. Moving on to Monday's outlook now, a toasty 38 for Coober Pedy, made slightly more bearable with some cloud coverage. 36 in Port Augusta, Port Pirie and Woodner will have some cloud coverage as well. 34 degrees there, a sunny top of 33 in Broken Hill, 25 in Port Lincoln. And finally, looking all the way ahead to Tuesday, sunny conditions in store for Port Augusta, Whyalla, Port Pirie, Kadina and Adelaide. Temperatures between 30 and 34 in those cities. A very pleasant 25 in Port Lincoln. And that's all the weather from me tonight. I'll see you a little later with an update. Mads, it's back to you.
Thanks for that, Ruby. Have a great weekend. And that's the local news this Friday. I'm Madeline Kerr. From all of us here, thanks for joining us. I'll have updates a little later, but until then, enjoy your evening and I'll see you Monday. Good night.